Heyo, welcome back to another episode of the Boston Sports Brothers podcast. I am coming to you from a undisclosed location on the West Coast. That's a terrible W, but whatever. And gentlemen, good to see good to see you as always. Lots to talk about in the week that was from a sporting event perspective, but I'm a little hot coming into tonight's episode and have a
Rightfully
as we
so.
had it we had in our first episode, something burning, the opening tip. What's at the top of your mind? And I'm going to be as respectful as I can be in this opening what's burning segment. Uh, let's just say that when you are a scheduled guest to appear on a podcast and you have committed not once but twice, and the first time you no showed, and the second time at the 11th hour you asked to change the time, which is fine, and then you come back to us and say that you're unable to do it because superior beings that at a company that you work for has not authorized your ability to join us on said podcast. uh, to me that is a problem and something that is an issue. And I'm doing really uh, my best here to not drop names or companies or organizations, but let's just say uh, they're in the Boston media landscape and have had some changes at their organization over the past couple of years and do some things where you hear people talk about sports as well. So you can figure out who that is on your own if you think about it. Uh, so with that being said, don't commit to something if you can't do it. It's as simple as that. And if you need clearance from somebody, get the fucking clearance before you tell us you can't do it. Simple as that. Uh, this is also a crazy situation on the Boston sports media landscape today, as this whole entire Rich Shertenleib situation that unfolded is absolutely crazy. And let's get everyone's input here. I think everyone knows sort of how this all unfolded, but Rich leaves 98.5 and
Freudian
goes
slip.
on to goes over to WZLX to start his own show. I think he wanted to go to WEEI and had a non-compete. And now 6 months later, after starting that show, is no longer on the airwaves. And just, from my opinion, a huge fumble of the bag for Rich. He seems like a good guy, seems like somebody who obviously was dealing with the stuff at 98.5 and Fred, who is very publicly somebody that doesn't seem very easy to deal with, but crazy situation. Guys chime in on this whole sort of the whole Boston media landscape boggles my mind from a radio perspective and all the changes that have happened over the past year, to be honest. So
Yeah,
whoever wants
I
to take
haven't
it, go.
I haven't listened to Rich since he's left 98.5, so I can't give much input there. I'm pretty tried and true to my 98.5 guys. I still listen to Toucher and Hardy now. They do give me some good laughs on the commute in. The show just goes completely off the rails sometimes, and Toucher is a complete D-bag. But I mean, with that being said, I don't think they're really missing Rich all that much.
Got a shout out to my boy Wallach, YJ alumni. Eric also went to
Yeah,
YJ Camp
Waldick,
Wallach,
where you
New
at?
Hampshire. So Waldick, where you at? YJ alumni, let's go. But I think the biggest thing about the Boston sports media is that 98.5 is just they're just way better than the rest of the
Steamrolling.
competition. It's just what is it, like 5 years running, maybe even longer, of just the ratings every quarter they come back and they're just killing it. So there's no competition. Yeah, they're just head and shoulders above the rest.
I agree. And I mean, for me, it's, I was a huge WEEI guy initially. I mean, for me, it was like, I'm a big baseball guy. So Lou Merloni and, what was it, Lou Fourier and Ordway. I mean, that was a great show for me. That's really what I listened to. And then once they kind of dismantled, I just like kind of switched over to 98.5 because it just didn't, I didn't really listen to Toucher and Rich in the morning because they just got like way too political for me. And like Gabe said, kind of just got off the rails. They
Like
didn't
barely
really talk
sports
about
talk.
sports.
Yeah.
Oh, it was no
But
sports.
No
but I
sports.
mean, and no takeaways to the guys on 98.5 now because they're all great at what they do, but they trash on our teams, and there's really no like let's focus on how we can fix things as opposed to just like sitting there and trashing the teams all day.
I don't know.
I think
they
98.5's gotten better.
I think they trash when they should be trashed, but I also think they praise due when there should. Like the Celtics right now, they're giving them their flowers and they know that they're killing it. So
They've
I
gotten
think
better.
that they don't bash all the teams, but they do bash, the majority of the time, Sam. I think you are right. I think they don't hold back, but as Felger would say, we gotta carry a show today, right? Something like that.
Two thoughts on my end here. Biggie chiming in. First off, I do genuinely feel bad for Rich. I do think Rich, for all intents and purposes, is a pretty good guy. I think he probably misjudged the situation, and from all the things that have come on out about WCLX, it wasn't meant to be anything with music, and then they had him implement music, made some changes in the show very early on, never really kind of found its footing. Kind of a shame, is what it is. Understand why they were looking to go in a different direction. Other thought is, one, Mr. Fred Toucher, who we've touched on a little bit here today, gloating this evening, by the way. There was a picture of him and his son on Instagram with "Hey Rich, hey" on his son's phone, with them with shit-eating grins.
No way.
Basically rubbing it in their face. It was on Twitter too. So Rich Toucher is doing a little bit of a victory lap right now, and I do think someone said here earlier is, do I think Toucher is difficult to work with? Absolutely. He's got a lot of issues. He's entertaining as hell. There are times where I hate him, but also love him as well. But yeah, just a crappy situation. And yeah, speaking of crappy situations, should we move on to our New England Patriots?
Yeah, I think there was a good conversation there. Just the Boston sports media landscape is always a hot topic. And there's been a lot of movement over the past couple of years, but that's why we did our podcast, I think, guys. It's like we wanted to be able to talk on things, and like there are times when the trashing is applicable. There are times when the praise is applicable. And what better way to get into that with the Patriots, who probably deserve a little bit of both after yesterday's game, rather. A wild game at the ends with the whole way that things unfolded and getting into overtime. But let's break it down. Let's talk about it. J-Mac, kick us off per usual with the Pats, and let's just dissect this game and everything that it was.
So, what did we find out this week, gentlemen? We are not a playoff team. Still far away, far away. Galaxies.
I think we've known that for a little bit.
As Star Wars, the galaxy
we live
far away.
Tatooine.
Literally, like, oh my god,
and O-line and some
Earth.
Weapons.
Hopefully, we'll get down to Earth at some point this season, but we'll see. Not love that. Wow, unbelievable. So good.
That was not planned.
That was so good.
Not planned.
So yeah, I mean, they're not a playoff team. There is some things you like to see. Drake May showing some growth. Definitely some rookie mistakes. The interception at the end of the game is definitely a little bit of a prayer of a throw. But you like to see him with his scrambles outside the pocket. He does need to protect himself a little bit better. They showed a couple replays where he was scrambling and he took some hits, man. Like head hit the ground. Just he's got to protect himself a little bit better. You like to see him with the rapport with Hunter Henry. I think Hunter Henry's on some career numbers for at least, I think, some catches and maybe yards, but not so much touchdowns. But 3 games they played together, 18 catches for 189 yards and a TD. So that's great to see. Offensive line has 0 run game. It's like disgusting. So yeah, I mean, there's a litany of things we can go over, which we will. But yeah, they're just far away from where they need to be.
How do you fix the run game?
Wow, coming in hot, everybody.
I know.
I was gonna be like, hey, Ramondre Stevenson with his 1.6 average yard per carry.
Woo! Pretty good, right?
Good job. Let's go,
2
Ramondre.
weeks. Two times that Jacoby started last game because Drake May was had the concussion or whatever. But the game before that, Drake May had more rushing yards than Ramondre did, and then this game. So again, Drake May.
I'm pretty sure last game Drake got injured. He had more rushing yards than Ramondre.
But the thing is, guys,
probably because he put up a.
I'm gonna stat check that.
How much is that on him though? Like last year he ran the ball great. I mean, he showed flashes, really big flashes, when he actually had a line that could block for him. So is that him or is it the line?
I think it's the line.
Or
I've kept saying, the line looks good. The line looks good at times, but it needs to be consistent.
Yeah. Gabe, what are your thoughts on the running game or the game overall?
It was a good game. It was a decent watch, but I was writing some notes down before we came on here, and I was trying to give Drake May a grade for the week that he had. And I was struggling trying to grade him because I'll let you guys know, I was teetering between a C plus and a B minus.
But I would say
Yep,
too.
that's
right.
that's
exactly
my
what I was
head.
thinking.
B minus,
Yeah,
C plus. I don't know.
So
Give him an
yeah.
80.
Really like
Give
a-
him an 80.
So
like a 79.
I say a C.
999.
I say C plus because he's got to protect himself.
I say
as
B
you
minus
guys-
because he's
as-
got shit to play with.
As you guys know, C's get degrees, so you or I. No, I'm just kidding.
Jay what? Jay woo.
Yeah. I at first gave him a C plus. I just thought the Patriots are leaning so heavily on him right now. He's like the only bright spot of this team. He's kind of not the most accurate with the ball when he's under pressure. He's thrown a few that picks that, or maybe that could be picks. I thought last week he tried to throw a in cut to Kendrick Bourne and almost threw it directly to the defense there. And if he threw it back shoulder, I think Bourne would have had a better chance at that ball. So it just it's hard to say if it's. I think Drake May has shown us a lot. That pass at the end of the game was absolutely incredible. Just him scrambling around in the pocket reminds you of like a young Aaron Rodgers, or someone like Patrick Mahomes, like just like a playmaker, just an absolute playmaker. Some of it you want to blame on the coaching, and that's why I think I might bring him up to like a B minus, just because I think that this team is just really holding him back as well.
I wouldn't even just blame the coaching. I'm going to blame the front office. I'm blaming everyone. He's got nothing around him. Our
Nothing.
wide receiver corps, worst in the league.
Eric, you like Jalen
Worst in the
Polk?
league. Oh my God, Jalen Polk. What a shitty draft pick. Hey, Javon Baker, you haven't seen the field. You suck. KJ Osborne. Oh, they're not going to play me. I want to get traded. Kendrick Bourne, I kind of give a little bit of a pass to. He's coming back, working himself from an ACL. For all intents and purposes, hasn't really been anything bad. And I think he's actually a positive influence in the wide receiver room. But man, do our skill positions suck. And yeah, Ramondre Stevenson was good last year. We had just talked about, if Drake May had more rushing yards than Ramondre did last week against the Jets. I just looked it on up. He had 2 more rushing yards than Drake May did. Drake didn't play for
48 and 46. 48 and 46.
So even our running back can't even do his job compared to our quarterback. Like it's laughable. And as great as that ending and how exciting it was yesterday, it was a boring game, and it was just a frustrating game. We cannot do anything on both sides of the ball. Literally, our defense. I just want to go in on the defense real quick, Sam, and then take on over. We are soft in the middle on the defense.
So soft
everywhere.
I never thought Juwan Bentley was an
Lawrence
amazing
Taylor?
player. I thought he was a good player. Maybe he's amazing, and I just never realized it. But we need middle linebackers. We need them bad. Honestly, offensive lineman, middle linebacker, offensive lineman. That's all I want to see for this draft. If I see anything else, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind.
And your freaking coach was a middle linebacker. Come on.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
It's right now the main focus and the only focus is building an offensive line around this kid. And that's going to be through the draft, and that needs to be either through trades and signing free agents. Those are the 3 ways that we're going to formulate an offensive line. We need to get some big ass motherfucker, 6'6", 360-pound motherfucker. That's going to come out. That's not going to move. That's what we need. And we've never had this issue. And then Dante Scarnecchia left, right? Dante?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So once he left, that's when things kind of went down the shitter. I think Bill kind of held on a little bit because he still kind of knew what Dante was doing, but we need to hire someone that knows what the fuck they're doing on the offensive line. We need to pick up someone in the offseason, make a trade, and we also need to draft somebody.
We need tight ends too. We need tight ends.
Blocking tight end.
But none of that matters without an offensive line.
We have a catching
a blocking tight end can actually help with that.
Yeah. No. I mean, that'll help one side, but still.
Sam, I think you put it really well. Like they just need to build in the trenches, I think is what you're
100%.
trying to say. And and I think they should build that through the draft. And then they have so much money to spend. Spend that on the guys that want the money.
Mhm.
My thing
And
is
that's,
like
Well,
they
the
got
wide
to. I think it.
receivers, tight ends.
I
And it'll
think
be
it starts.
easy to get offensive linemen than flashy wide receivers.
I
You
think it
can't
starts
draft
more.
wide receivers.
Guys, I think it starts even more than the draft. Like, look at beyond it. Like, look at culture. Like, culture is a huge thing, and like the way you look at each week and each game. Like the Ravens, they've gone through so many iterations of quarterbacks and like just like everything. But their teams, there's the Ravens are going to be tough as balls. Like same with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's been like. What do they have at quarterback? But they're tough as balls. Like these
An
teams that have
identity.
culture,
Winning
like,
cultures.
yeah, like we need to go back to that. They have
An
to start building a
identity.
culture.
I
in the
will
room
say
first.
with the Ravens, it's pretty nice when you have someone like Lamar Jackson for the last 5 years. So
Yeah, but
he's a pretty good.
Flacco wasn't special.
They
like,
always gave the Patriots fits. So
yeah,
Yeah,
they were
no,
always
I'm
good.
I'm not denying that. I'm just saying like they've had a little more stability at the best,
But
the most important position, and
but
we
other
have.
than that, Eric, their defense is always a punch you in the mouth defense. Like
Yeah,
from the Ray
yeah,
Lewis
like,
times, like
yeah.
Their
like,
defense
that's where
sucks. Their
that-
defense
like-
actually
like-
sucks
like,
right now.
Ed Reed.
But they still punch you in the mouth. They still have the great corner. Their defensive backs are pretty
They
good.
have
They-
what-
punch you in the offensive mouth.
yeah, like
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think
They're gonna run the score up on you.
These
I
teams
think
they have
what we're
culture, and I
saying
think the
is-
pass need it.
we we were spoiled for so long with what we had, and it's really hard to watch a team that is as dysfunctional and
Don't
just sporadic as the Patriots are. The trade deadline is tomorrow. Thanks, Biggie, for letting us know that. And so we'll see if they make any sorts of moves. And just
Get a
like
third
wrapping
rounder.
up this game, you do have some building blocks to build around. But the questions of everything that we just discussed in the last few minutes of, is it coaching? Is it the O-line? Is it middle linebackers? It's probably a combination of everything, and finding that right recipe to the entire, sort of end product, if you will. And right now the recipe is just off. Like there's no doubt about that. That was a winnable game. That was something, that was a game
Beyond
where
winnable.
Not enough butter.
They're losing to the worst.
well,
The
They're losing to the
penalties are
worst
just like,
teams in the
oh my
league.
god.
yeah, the
right,
Jags, the Titans.
No, they're not just losing. Like they gave up 400 yards to the freaking Titans. Like
Got
you
the
told
Tony
me-
number one pick
Pollard.
right now again.
Yeah, but now
Tony
we can
Pollard
take whoever we
ripped-
want in the draft. That's
Tony
good.
Pollard ripped through our defense.
I think the Titans are like the 28th. Like they're like the bottom 5 offense with
They're
as of the
horrible.
Patriots. But
Wow.
like
Mason Rudolph, are you
and they're-
fucking
and
kidding
they're
me?
gashing us. It's just embarrassing.
Yeah, but
Embarrassing.
that game had a little bit more sentiment about it that I'll get into on the that made it,
Yeah.
I think, a little bit more competitive. But yeah, we'll get into that.
You know what team is
Word.
not embarrassing though? The Boston freaking
Thank God we
Celtics.
have the Celtics.
Oh my god. It's
that's
just
about the
like-
only saving grace that we have going in
Literally.
this town right now, in a team that is off to a great start. Big E, take it away on the C's.
Yeah, since last time that we came to the airwaves, Celtics have gone 4-1 over a 5-game stretch. 2 of those games, most recently, were back-to-back in Charlotte. A little bit of animosity there from old friend Grant Williams with a non-basketball play
Crazy.
running into Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum taking some not happy with it, getting up and walking away, and you could tell he was upset. Jaylen Brown coming to the defense of his guy JT, letting Grant know that was BS, and Grant after the game was basically like, hey, listen, like wasn't trying to injure the guy, but I think even Grant knew that it was something that he was going to get in trouble with. The next game they took it to him. Tatum at one point had a nasty dunk right around Grant, hung onto the rim and slant, and kind of went right into him. So some sources we know have said that Grant is a
Crop dusted
clown.
him.
So we just know that it was a little testy there with an old friend. Do want to touch on the one loss because I think it's worthwhile talking about. We lost to the Indiana Pacers, team that we met in the Eastern Conference Finals. It was a game that we were down by a lot for most of it, and want to give the team credit for fighting back. After being
Bench,
down
Kada.
over 20 points at one point, the bench came back. Kada, thank you, Sam, for that. Was pretty instrumental in that,
Really?
and they ended up forcing overtime. Lost in overtime. Pascal Siakam had a great shot at the end. I just still think it's, even though we didn't win this game, and I still feel really good about this team. I think the fact that the bench was able to will us back in a comeback speaks volumes about how deep this team is. And this team wasn't going to go 82-0, right? So
No.
they're gonna drop some games along the way. It's just natural. But also want to give a quick shout out here too to our man Peyton Pritchard. one who Mr. Plotty here had
Sixth
said
man.
is sixth man of the year. I believe there's only been one player through as many games played that Pritchard has played so far that has more 3-pointers coming off the bench than he does. So he is lighting it up. He is one of our best players, clearly our sixth man, and in contention to be sixth man
Build
of the
that
year.
parlay.
Yeah, I think it's just, can a team beat the Celtics in 7 games? That's what you really have to think about. Like the Pacers, they play them 7 times. Pacers aren't going to beat them 4 times. So that's what we have to really think about. They're going to lose regular season games. Flukes will happen, but it's all about the playoffs and it's about the series for me.
I think it's also like we're dominating teams like the Bucks that, the Bucks are supposedly one of the challengers, right? They look awful. Like there's clearly a big issue with them. That team is kind of broken. I wouldn't be surprised if the Vultures are kind of circling in on Giannis to see if they can get him. So, Gabe, Kraz, any thoughts here on the Celtics? Plotty, any of your thoughts?
Yeah, no, sorry. So here's the things with the Celtics. We know what they're going to be. Obviously, like you said, they're not going to, they're not going to go 82-0. They got the Cavs in front of them. I'm really not worried too much about the Cavs. I am more concerned with Porzingis and making sure that we bring him in at the right time. I have a question. Did Indiana really raise a banner that they beat us? Or was that just fake that I saw?
I don't know. I think that might have been fake.
I didn't see that.
I think that was fake.
Fake
I think,
news.
but to your point, Sam, I think they do have to worry about the Cavs because if the Cavs push them for a number 1 seed, and they do have to play a little bit harder. They're 7-0. Like they get it. You have to win you want the home court. So I just not.
We're 6-1.
Nah, come on.
Yeah, but they're 7-0.
I'm not. I mean,
Yeah,
7-0. They played
Who-
7 games out of
Who they
82.
played? I want to
I
see.
mean,
the
I
Cavs
haven't
play.
looked at their schedule. I don't know
Guys,
how
if you're
difficult
not
their
taking
schedule
them
was.
Scared of the
seriously,
Cavs, bro?
I'm not
Come
saying
on.
they're
I'm
not
not
good.
scared
I'm
of them,
just
but if
saying
you're not
that
taking
I
them
wanna play them.
seriously, then you're.
How many
you're
times
just,
do we play them now? What, 2 times a year? 4 times a year?
No,
I
I
know
think
the
three.
Celtics are the Celtics, but the competition they're not a bad team, guys. They're really not.
I know, but let's play them. I mean, I never said they're bad. They're going to be
course.
1, 2. They're going to be
They'll
like
be
2, 3,
7
or
and
4.
1 real soon.
But you want to.
Yeah, they are.
I'm talking about home court. That's all I'm talking
Well,
about.
that's for 82.
They know
That's
how
why
important
they-
it is.
We're
They know how
7
important
games
it
into the
is.
season. I would say
Give me
I
20
was writing-
games.
I was writing in my notepad today a little earlier again, and I wrote down I'm more scared of facing the Pacers in the playoffs than I am the Knicks.
Celtics could have 2 losses. Detroit, it's not. I'm just trying to give the other teams a little bit of they're off to a hot start.
Or
You got to give them their
don't-
flowers.
Remember, we're getting
Don't
everyone's
listen
A
to
game.
what I just said. Jesus. Anyways, I guess go Celtics.
We
I mean,
play the
Jesus.
Cavs 4 times by the way, just so you know.
4
Still.
times. Okay.
So 0-4.
Hey, that's a series.
Hey,
We'll see.
I give them credit that they're 7-0, and I think actually looks like they're going to be 8-0 because it looks like they're beating Milwaukee right now. But
Whoa.
I think at this point, I think water's going to find its level. They're going to lose some more
always
games.
does.
Cleveland will be someone that we'll see in the playoffs for sure. We
2,
saw them
3,
last
4.
year, but I still think at this point, until a team makes a major move that puts them on par with the Celtics, and I think even the Knicks, I'm not there with them yet. I
Maybe
don't really
Cleveland
see
will
it.
get Kawhi Leonard, and then they'll be
Yeah,
champions.
that's really the only thing I could see happening is Cleveland getting a big name that really shakes it up. I mean, even that, I still don't. I'm not sold. I think that I still think I think the Cavs are a
just
great
saying
team.
they're off
but-
to a
Alright, so
good start. And they're going to push the Celtics.
J-Matt has
that's
become
all
a
I'm
Cleveland
saying.
Cavaliers fan in the
Definitely
first 7 games
not.
of the season. So
You just
we'll
got to
let
watch
you
out. You
enjoy.
got to look at the standings. for a
Gilbert.
little bit.
He's number one fan of
Carolyn
Spider
on
Mitchell.
Hey,
Bonds
hey,
knob
hey.
too, probably.
As Felger would say, we have a podcast tonight. Next week might be
We-
different, but we have a podcast tonight.
We sure do.
Hey,
And-
I respect the
Hey,
Cavs.
Josh,
I
what do you
respect
think
the
about
Cavs.
LeBron going back to the Cavs? Little trade deadline trade there.
Hey, Bronny got his first little bucket there. Show him a little love. It was kind of weird. He should
That's a
be
little
so
weird.
stupid.
so
But
dumb.
And-
it doesn't have anything to do with Cleveland.
That is nepotism at its finest.
Oh,
Crazy.
Yeah.
real.
that's for sure. I think wrapping up Celtics thoughts is they're off to a good start. The Jaylen Brown injury, hip flexor, is a concern to have for sure, and it looks like he'll be out for a little bit of time. We talked about the health going into the playoffs being the most important thing. And the biggest thing out of the past couple games is Grant Williams is a big fucking bitch. I mean, that
He's a
guy,
bitch.
what he did to Tatum to be like, oh, I didn't mean to like run into him. He didn't see me coming. It's like,
Oh, and the
dude,
Derek
you
White thing.
made a conscious decision to get a running start from 20 feet away and come in and hip check him like you were in a hockey game. And kudos to
Big
Tatum
fat
for
ass.
getting up the way that he did and walking away. 20, 30 years ago, that's Bill Lambier and Larry Bird, fisticuffs and haymakers being thrown. And Missoula probably wanted to see that happen. But like the teams are going to be after the Celtics, not just from trying to beat them on the floor, but doing some questionable shit, I think, throughout the course of the season. So I think that plays to their favor. I think that plays to their identity. And it's like, you come at the king, you better not fucking miss. So we'll see how things transpire over the next couple of weeks and the health of the team. Porzingis looks to be working his way back towards Christmas time, and a team that's working their way back into the mix after a time that looked a little bit hairy, but getting the train back on the tracks is the one Boston Bruins. I've been out on the West Coast, so I really haven't been able to follow games too much over the past couple of days. But Gabe, catch us up on the Bees, who are now back at a level 6-1, I believe.
Yes, we can get you caught up, Plotty. No
Thank you.
problem here. Yeah, like you said, Bruins are 6-1 after quite the roller coaster of the week here. Losing to the Philadelphia Flyers 2-0. Not liking that at all. The Philadelphia Flyers are a poopy team. Hurricanes, then they go on to play the Hurricanes and just get their asses absolutely smashed. Like, okay, the Bruins lose 8-2. It's complete embarrassment. Speaking of sports media, whoa, Boston sports media was going off on the Bruins, calling for Jim Montgomery to be fired, wanting to trade Brad Marchand. So there were a lot of questions being raised around the Bruins team. I posted on my Instagram, the Bruins have to beat the Flyers. It's a must win, an early season must win game for the Bruins. And they do. They beat the Flyers 3-0. Korpisalo looking impressive, getting the shutout. I know Josh Matulski, J-Matt, has been a big fan of Korpisalo and his play early on this year. And then they play back-to-back games. They play the Kraken, Seattle Kraken, and what's Kraken? We win again, and we're on a little win streak here. So I don't know, like, I'm kind of feeling good right now as a Bruins fan. They're going up. They're playing in Toronto tomorrow, which is going to be a tough game, but they seem to have Toronto's number, and so if they could win 3 in a row and get this thing moving in the right direction, I think we might have another team to talk about in Boston.
I kind of feel like right now, you know how like you get in a car and you can put the heated seats on and you got high, medium, or low. The seat's still a little hot for Montgomery. I still think it's not, he's not off of it. But it's it's a little bit more on the low end of the spectrum right
Your
now.
ass isn't burning.
No, your ass is feeling it, but you ain't burning. So I think I never really thought that if he was going to get fired, it was going to happen this early in the season, anyways. So I do think like there's a lot that is going to transpire before now in December if that does happen. I think Josh, you might have said it last week or the week before, but typically if you're in the playoff picture around American Thanksgiving, you're in a good spot. So technically right now we're in that spot, but there's probably about 8-9 games between now and American Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. So a lot can definitely change, both positively and negatively.
Huge test this week. They have 3 games. They have, like Gabe said, they have Toronto coming up, and they have Calgary, and then they have Ottawa, I believe. So yeah, those are 3 big tests. They're on a streak here, but I think it could be a little bit of fool's gold that we're seeing a little bit. I mean, they have 5 goals out of those 2 games and 7 goals in 3 games if you look back to the Hurricanes loss. So I don't know. I think that they really need the secondary scoring. That's a big miss right now. Korpisalo's playing great, like Gabe said. I'm a big fan of him right now. I think he's pushing Swayman a little bit, which I think is a good thing. You want that out of your second goaltender. You want that to push your horse there a little bit. So I just hope that they turn it around and get a big test. They weren't looking good. They were in last place, 2 nights ago or a week ago. So next week they could be at they could be third in the standings or second in the standings. It's just,
Well,
it's early, but they're finding it out, and they just have a lot to figure out still.
a reinforcement is on the way. There was a move made today. So, Gabe, do you want to enlighten us with the move? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nothing like too needle moving. I would say
The Schmenza didn't go up a few inches.
I mean, okay, so let's break the news first. It broke this evening that the Bruins signed Tyler Johnson, 34-year-old center. He can also play both wings, so he's very versatile, which I'm sure.
Two-time Stanley Cup winner, I believe.
Penalty?
Two-time. What's that?
Can he play the PK?
Can play the PK, can play the power play. So they signed him to a 1-year, one-way contract, so that means he's on the team. I think Morgan Geekie has been really struggling this year, and I think that this might be a move because of that. But Tyler Johnson, he played with the Bruins a bit during camp this year. He played in the preseason. He really impressed players. He impressed coaches. He adds a veteran presence in the locker room. So let's fucking go. Why not? Bring him
Why
in.
not?
I like it.
Yeah, anything to add some offensive firepower to the team is helpful. And I think a guy that brought firepower every night that deserves some recognition and had a night in his honor the other night was Jack Edwards, who retired at the end of last season. I think he knew and it was visible from a public standpoint that he could still do it, but he had lost a step, and he had taken some time away to think about things, and I think decided last year would be his last season announcing. But I think if he felt like he could still do it, he would. But kudos to Jack, because I think it's very difficult to walk away from that kind of job, feeling like you could still do it, but knowing that you aren't at the same level that you used to be at. And so I believe the broadcast booth has been renamed in his honor. And just a very cool moment for him. And we've talked about this on previous episodes, just the phasing out of all of our favorite play-by-play announcers over the last couple of years. And lots of Boston sports media, like all of those guys that have done those jobs are beloved figures in Boston.
Yeah.
And Jack
Remy
Edwards,
or Silo.
yeah. And back to like,
Oh, don't even get me started, Orsillo.
Yeah,
Like
we could have a whole
screwed
segment
him over.
on Orsillo. Talk
Even
about
the
pizza
Cops,
throw.
Steve Horgan.
But can I just say something about Jack here real quick too? And like I think just like quick thing I would just love to just shout out about him is hockey is not an easy sport to do play-by-play for, and he did a really good job with it and was doing that for a long time. One of his quotes that he said from that night was he basically lived a dream for 45 years, and he really thanked everyone for letting him into their living room. So Jack, on behalf of the fans, thank you for doing what you did. Really appreciated it, and it was a joy sharing games with you.
No doubt.
Thanks, Jack.
100%.
Jack called a lot of goals for this guy that I want to talk about. Just real briefly about the Bruins is Pasta. I don't know if anybody saw in the third period of the Kraken game, but our good buddy Pasta was benched. Didn't see a shift the entire period. I think it was due to a potentially really costly turnover. Thankfully, it didn't turn into a goal, but Monty was definitely trying to send a statement. So I think Monty's trying to be a little bit more of a hard ass. And he's kind of either saying, I'm going to go down or you're going to go down all with me. So
Yeah.
I like the move. I think it's a good thing.
And look, Monty doesn't have a contract going into next year, so this is his like FU season, I feel like, and he's really like, I mean, he's shoving Marchand on the bench a couple weeks ago. Now he's benching Pasternak. He's not scared to go after the big names in the organization, and I don't think it's a bad thing. There's a lot of new faces on this team, and for them to see the coach kind of being a hard ass on the captain and assistant captain I think that's going to go a long way as well.
I like
No doubt. We'll wrap up on the Bruins. Motivation factor for sure. In the games that I have been able to watch, there's just been some brutal turnovers from both Pasta and Marchand. And so you can't have what are supposed to be two of your best players making errors like that. Got to make pucks in deep, cycle the puck, shots on net. And, good things will come from that. And a great thing that came from this previous week is, what is it, Sam? Tell us.
I can finally say it. The Yankees
Yankees.
lose. The
The
curse
Yankees
of Aaron
lose.
Judge.
The
or Big
Yankees
Poppy
The
lose.
Yankees lose.
Oh man, what a great feeling it was to
Oh,
see
they
them
pooped
just
down their
and
pooped down their
actually
leg.
the biggest thing is the I was reading the scouting report on
We're all smiling so big right now. Sorry,
it's
Ricky.
like that South Park episode when Cartman's being homeschooled. He's like, yeah, guys. That's how I felt sleeping. But no, the scouting report on I was reading the scouting report that the Dodgers had on the
chatting
Yankees.
report.
Scouting
They
report.
said the shatting report.
Scouting
They
report? No, the
shat all
scouting
over
report.
themselves.
And yeah, pretty much. It was put the ball in play. The Yankees are terrible when it comes to defense. And that's just exactly what happened. I mean, Freddie Freeman was like, that's every kid. I mean, I know at least for me, like in the backyard, oh, it's down by one. Grant, it's the World Series. Bases are loaded. And he knocked, I mean, that was unbelievable. I think we touched on that last episode, but yeah, they just to see them completely crumble is just amazing on defensively. Talk about getting in on an easy series. Everyone wants to say that the Celtics got into the finals on an easy series. Fucking bullshit. The Yankees got in on a fucking easy series. So I don't want to hear anything. And people can come at me and say whatever they want about the pitching, but no, the Yankees got in easy.
The Dodgers
and
had an easy road too.
What makes
yeah,
it
but
but
talking
they're
about
better.
them.
They're more
No one's
talented.
talking about them. No one's talking about them being like, oh,
They're more talented. The only thing that scares me is this Yankees team reminded me of when the Celtics lost to the Golden State Warriors. They faced a team that had been there before, that was talented, and is missing one piece. That's the only thing.
I think the Yankees
I
are
don't
more than
know.
a few pieces away, though.
I think the thing that
I
makes
didn't feel that way.
this loss like really sweet though is because we love to see the Yankees lose, but we haven't seen them lose in the grand stage since when was the last time they even lost in the World Series that we got to see it? I don't even remember.
I mean,
Seriously.
03 was the last time they lost.
Yeah, like
in the
03
World
against,
I mean, we were all
the-
very
My guy, I think it
very
was Luis
much-
Martinez. The
We
single
weren't
right up the middle.
podcasting then, I'll tell you that. Let me tell
That
you.
guy was ripped. He was ripped as fuck, that guy.
Are you talking about 20? Are you talking about 01?
Maybe
03.
01.
But
I'm
that's
talking
what
about
makes
when
it-
they
that's-
lost,
You're thinking
that's
about
what
the
makes
They
this-
lost to
Diamondbacks, yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah, that's
That's what
01.
makes this so sweet is because we haven't seen the Yankees lose on the grand stage in like 20 plus years.
An extra-
great.
An extra level of sweetness with this was seeing some of our guys win. And when I mean our guys, like former Sox
Mookie.
guys, you see Mookie, you see Kike, you see Joe Kelly, you got Dave Roberts. So yeah, I mean, obviously we'd love to have those guys affiliated with the Sox, but if it's between them winning or the Yankees, I'm rooting for those guys 100 out of 100 times. So
It's like Red Sox West.
still
Hey,
can't
one of
believe
those
still can't believe
rings
we
is
gave up
on the
Mookie for a
Sox.
bag of balls, but that's
One of
that's
those
besides the point.
rings is on the Sox, man.
Can we talk a little off season now that the World Series is over?
Yes, thank you.
Let's sign a fucking
Open up
ace.
the wallet.
I feel so. Juan Soto is gonna ask for a ridiculous amount of money.
700 million, I saw.
$1 billion.
I mean,
$1 billion,
there's
trillion dollars.
rumors that the Dodgers
I
are
don't
gonna
want him.
sign him and just form an absolute super team and just create
Whatever.
Like a
That's
dynasty.
completely fine with me because I
Yeah.
just I want this team to build.
It's like so
They
gross.
can be a dynasty. Those guys are gonna break down over the next 5 to 10 years. They're gonna get older. I want to see us get an ace.
better than the Yankees.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Yankees just optioned Cole for Cole optioned out to just get an extra, what is it, $8 million a year, only an $8 million a year. God forbid. So
I think
that's-
he just got re-signed. I think he got re-signed today by the Yankees.
Yeah, 44 million. He
Yeah.
opted out on the 36 to get an extra 8 to bring it up to 44 million.
I think my big issue though is like if the Dodgers go and get Soto, does baseball need to institute a salary cap with either a floor or a ceiling?
Yeah.
Because
And they will.
it then becomes a little bit like, hey, they're a team of all-stars, and what's even the point of watching baseball if it's just going to be the Dodgers going up and winning every year? So
This is what needs to happen, I think.
I think it has to. And I think for the teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates, the teams that, never spend, get them to fucking spend some money. Either you're going to pay to play or sell the team to someone else who will.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
John
spend
Henry.
money, John Henry, I know you're listening to this podcast. I know you listen.
Definitely.
I know it. You need to open up your wallet, buddy, because we
Please,
need some
dude.
pitching, like Sam said. And it would be kind of cool to see Juan Soto here, but I'm not holding my breath.
Pitching.
On that.
I'd rather spend
But-
on
Well, that's
pitching.
not happening.
No, I know.
Pitching.
It's a pipe dream.
I know.
But
I know.
Don't-
Henry,
yeah.
Henry, I know you're watching.
Max
Well,
Fried.
I know you're listening.
He's a
That's-
Jew, right?
Yep.
The
Let's get Max Fried. Let's get Corbin Bruins. Let's trade for somebody and fucking
Just
can send two
You
of our
need-
four
need a
guys,
power
three
bat.
guys.
on the right-hander, you need a power bat in the lineup to complement Devers, and especially if Tyler O'Neill is about to leave with what he brought this past season. And you need a legitimate ace. And they've been talking about wanting to, spend this offseason. Sam Kennedy, Breslow has said it. So now go improve it, and you'll have a fan base that is much more invested and much more on board if they do that going into next season. But the ball is in their court now. You gotta, if you're gonna talk the talk, then walk the walk. And as we've said, open up that checkbook.
If the Boston Sports
outside of
Brothers
Fenway
do not see any movement by mid-February, get ready for the Fenway 5 to take on over, and we will be the Fenway 5. So John Henry, Greg Breslow, Sam Kennedy, get ready. Put a competitive team on the field, or we're coming for you.
Coming for it. It could be, what could it be, Eric? It could be a oh yeah or a yeah oh, depending on what they do.
The power is theirs.
Please make it a oh yeah.
I'm not
It's
holding my
gonna
breath.
have to be a better oh yeah than that Josh. It's gonna have to be a
It's
big
gonna be
E. Oh
Big E
yeah.
style. It's gonna have to be a oh yeah.
oh yeah. Yeah, oh,
Or it's gonna be a
Oh,
yeah
of the pod.
oh.
Kraz, you threw a couple of oh yeah O's
Did.
in here, so
Did.
let us dissect.
I want to talk about the ultimate trolling that David Ortiz put on the Yankees. Every time he's with those guys, and the Yankees lose, he always throws the Yankees lose right in their face, which is ballsy as fuck. This time, come game 3, I think it was. Yeah, game 3. It's pregame. They're doing their thing. Him, A-Rod, and Jeter, and they're rounding. And Big Poppy's is rounding the bases and goes, "Hey, Jeter, does this remind you of something?" And I was just like, "Oh, that's such another level of trolling." And then when they're down with 3, he's throwing up the Kendrick Lamar lyrics. They're not like us. They're not like us. They're not like us. Captain 03. I don't think so. They're not like us.
So
What a
weird.
level of trolling! Like that is such an oh yeah for me.
We love Poppy.
Always
Poppy,
have.
stay
And
the way you are,
Pedro.
my friend. Oh, and
And
Pedro.
Thank God Poppy's still. Oh, can't even just thank God.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I have a Yao.
Let it
Cheer.
rip.
Do
Give it
it.
to us.
Well, obviously Grant Williams. That's definitely a Yao. But what about daylight savings time, man? Like
Ugh.
with this 4:30 darkness BS, like get out of here with this. The next 4 months, right? 4 months of this stuff.
What is it even good for?
Yeah.
Absolutely
106.
nothing.
106-year-old the tradition.
What is it good
Stupid.
for?
Absolutely
Absolutely
nothing.
Nothing. So
One
good.
more, one
Really-
more.
What
What
is
is
it
it good for?
Absolutely
Absolutely
nothing.
Fuck daylight savings time. That shit
Agreed.
sucks. It's 4:30
Yeah,
in
oh.
California, and the goddamn lights are off
I
already.
don't know. I like
I
the
know-
extra hour of sleep.
I know it was done for
Yeah,
like
the extra
learning,
hour is great,
but
but
I think in today's technological age, we do not need that extra hour of data.
Agreed. Big
Back
Yao.
to politic minute here. Didn't Congress vote for this to like be abolished at some point? What's happened with that?
It's-
Can somebody get an update down there?
I
Maybe
think
depending on what happens this Tuesday.
Oh God.
It's in
I
Biden's
doubt it.
straw.
Oh,
Biden forgot the code to the safe.
He forgot. He literally does not know how. He didn't remember how to change the clocks or keep it where they were. So maybe that's why we have
Daylight
to
savings
wait till
time.
somebody that has a fully
man.
functioning.
We're gonna get rid of daylight savings time.
but yeah, that's a big Yao in my book. Get out of here,
Big
daylight
Yao, big
savings.
Yao.
Ugh.
Couple oh yeahs on some playmaking this week. Obviously that Drake May was like Madden at the end of the
Oh,
game.
yeah.
And being able to even tie the game. I was at a local watering hole here out on the West Coast, and it was great because I was the only Patriots fan, but it was packed with all different kinds of NFL fans. And let me tell you, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. football is something. I don't know how they do it, but it's something. And I let out a roar like that took down the entire bar. Meanwhile, you got fans of all these other teams. It was great though. There was a shitload of Bills fans at this place who were going crazy at the end of that game when that field goal was made. And another oh yeah moment was Saquon Barkley with another Madden play where spin move into the reverse hurdle was like, I don't think we've ever seen anything like that on the football.
He put the Giants in a blender.
Like
That was fucking crazy.
I never heard of a poster. Like he posterized like
that was just like a spin move that was like, that's a top 10 play on its own. And then you're gonna jump over somebody backwards. That's fucking unreal.
I don't even think you can do that in Madden, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think you can. That was, well, you will be able to next year.
That in 2026.
You heard that here first.
Well, to shit on New York more, he is flourishing with the Eagles, and they are so dumb for letting him go.
Oh yeah.
I will say the Tyrone Tracy kid they have for the Giants is interesting. So we'll see what he does. But
where the Giants really fucked up was with the contract with Daniel Jones and giving him as much money as they did, and they handcuffed themselves. And it sounded like, based on all that, it was I don't know if it was Hard Knocks or whatever, but there was a lot of insight into the offseason process with the Giants, and they butchered the Saquon Barkley contract by, like, if they gave him another $1 million, it would have been fine.
But the team he wouldn't be as good as he is.
No, and
like,
that's
like
back to Ramondre Stevenson. Are we handcuffing him with the team that we have here, and him not flourishing to his full extent? So, who knows? Any other ohs on the table this week, boys?
Well, I want to turn the Grant Williams into a because JT, as we mentioned earlier, dunked on him, like really dunked on him. But I don't know if you guys caught it when he swung forward and swung back. I think he might have let a little crop dust action on Grant Williams. So I'm gonna turn that into a
And then Kata fucking dunked on Grant Williams' face too, which was great, and gave him the old stare down, which was
they hate him. They hate Grant Williams.
I think everyone hates
in
Grant
the
Williams.
face.
Even Deuce hates Grant Williams.
Even
that was a sign.
Yeah, Deuce didn't dap him up back in the day.
That was a sign.
He's like, nah, I got good vibes from this dude. He's fucking weird.
As a source with the Charlotte Hornets said, Grant Williams is a clown. He's just a clown.
Unidentified source.
We're gonna keep that one close to the vest.
Big shoes.
Big shoes. Big shoes. Big shoes. Big road is the Mass Pike. Big road.
What a shit show
Big
that
road. Goes far, coast to coast. 90.
Coast to coast within Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, once you get out of Massachusetts, it turns into the New York Parkway or the Thruway, and then it goes to Cleveland, another dump of a city, and it just keeps going all the way out west. And sometimes you got to ship things out west, right, Gabe?
That's right. Ship them out west.
Out west.
I'm fucking weaving right now. I'm weaving. All right. Let's look ahead to the week that is. The Patriots take on Chicago, which should be a fun game. The QB matchup there. It would be nice to see Big Cat have to live some more miserable moments at the hands of the Patriots. So that'd be great. Celtics taking on Atlanta as we record tonight, Monday, November 4th. And then a primetime game versus Golden State. Is Steph Curry healthy? Is he playing in that?
He's playing tonight, and yours truly will be in attendance on Wednesday against the Golden State Warriors. We're taking the future wife and the future father-in-law for the future father-in-law's birthday to go see his favorite team and his favorite player, who is Steph Curry. So very happy to hear that Steph Curry is back, and I will report back on the experience of sitting in the loge against the Golden State Warriors and booing the absolute shit out of Steve Kerr.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Although in some ways we can be thankful for Steve Kerr lighting the fire under Tatum and Brown this season. So and then they wrap up against the Nets Friday and have a mid-afternoon game versus the Bucks on Sunday. So a little double dipping on Sunday with the Patriots and Celtics back to back. And then the Bruins playing the Maple Leafs on Tuesday, Calgary Thursday, and wrap up the weekend versus Ottawa. So gotta get off to a good week for the Bruins here and really start to ascend in the standings. So fellas, anything else on the pike this week? Anything else we're looking forward to?
Lots of depth,
Uh,
hopefully.
I'm
right,
just hoping
well,
for a competitive game on Sunday for the Pats. It's just so crappy watching just shit football and just having to slug through it. So I'm hoping for a good game. Surprise me, Pats. Let's hope it's good.
Well,
Celtic,
Josh,
and the Celtics,
unfortunately,
ahead,
I got some news for you. I think it's going to be a little crappy for a little while with this team. So you're just going to have to.
Oh,
We're all going to have to hang in with them.
I know, but flashes. We want flashes.
My last
But-
thought, I'm excited to see Linus Ullmark. We're playing Ottawa. Coming up, Ottawa Senators. He was traded there recently, so be cool to see Swayman and Ullmark have a little hug together.
Love
maybe.
it.
Maybe. Well, I'll hug you all soon enough when I'm back on the East Coast, and we're overdue on a little get together. Maybe we'll get some more live content going soon. Yeah, sorry, Erky, the Yankees lost. You fucker.
The Yankees-
We love you though. We love you. All right.
Yeah, this is good.
Until next week, hope
Until
everyone has
next
a great week, and we'll see you all do it here next week.
EFI, wherever you are. Thanks for
Later.
tuning in. Peace.
See ya.
Later.
Good night, y'all.
Adios.